They said the P1 could never have a real successor. They said it was a one-time thing, a moment in history that happens once and disappears like a solar eclipse. You see it once, and then it's gone. Well, McLaren heard that, and they built this. Ladies and gentlemen, the McLaren P12 legacy. The year is 2050, and I promise you, nothing you have seen before has prepared you for this. Let's talk about what you're actually looking at right now, because the first thing that hits you is not the shape, it's not the vents. It's not those active aero blades standing up from the rear deck, it's the paint. McLaren calls it Liquid Mercury, and that name is not marketing, that is a warning. This finish is not chrome. It's not silver. It sits somewhere between the two in a place that has no name. When you move around the car, the paint doesn't just reflect the light, it relocates it. The reflection of the light travels across the hood, slides around the fender, wraps itself around the door sill, and disappears into the shadow behind the rear wheel, like a living thing. And here's what makes that terrifying. Every single body panel on this car is a curved surface. There are no flat sections, none. Which means at any angle, from any position, that reflection is doing something different. You will never see the same car twice. The front end is where McLaren made a statement. You've seen the P1. You've seen the Senna. You know the DNA, the wide nostrils, the compressed face, the aggression that feels surgical rather than brute. The P12 legacy keeps that, but they've sharpened it. The central splitter drops lower than anything McLaren has built before. It's almost touching the ground. The two outer inlet channels feed active cooling for both axles simultaneously, because this car is all-wheel drive, for the first time in McLaren history. The side of the car is where I kept stopping and just standing, because the body line that runs from the front arch all the way to the rear diffuser, it's not a crease, it's not a fold. It's a tension line, like the car is holding its breath, like the skin of the bodywork is pulled tight over something underneath that desperately wants to move. The dihedral doors still here, still magnificent, open upward like the wings of something that evolved in a wind tunnel rather than in nature. And when they're closed, the seam is almost invisible. The liquid mercury paint makes the gap between door and sill look like a shadow, not a joint. And then you walk around the back. The rear of the McLaren P12 legacy looks like the exhaust end of a spacecraft. I don't say that dramatically. I say it because it is the only accurate description. The central exit, a single, oval, ceramic-lined tunnel, sits between two active aerodynamic blades that adjust their angle every 40 milliseconds based on speed, grip, and direction. Flanking those blades are two secondary exhausts from the thermal combustion element of the hybrid system, McLaren's signature rounded pipes. But now finished in exposed titanium that carries a faint heat tint of blue and gold. Be honest with me right now, would you actually stand behind this car when it starts? Because I would not, I would move. Inside, the cockpit of the P12 legacy is where McLaren made a decision that I respect enormously. They did not fill it with screens. There is one curved display integrated into the upper section of the steering column. Everything else is physical. The switches have weight. The paddle shifters are machined from a single piece of aluminium, so thin it should not be legal. The seat is carbon fiber and Alcantara, and the stitching on that Alcantara is done in a shade that is slightly darker than the surrounding material. So you almost don't see it until the light catches it at an angle. That is a detail that costs money and earns silence. The floor is exposed carbon weave, sealed in matte lacquer. You can see the texture of the individual fibers through it. When you get in, if you get in, you feel like you're sitting inside something that was engineered at a molecular level. Now, the powertrain. McLaren describes this as their hybrid legacy configuration. What that means is a 4-liter twin-turbocharged flat-plane V8 paired with 2 electric motors, one per axle. Combined output is 1,240 horsepower. The electric motors deliver maximum torque from 0 RPM. The combustion engine delivers its power in a climbing wave that peaks at 8,200 revolutions per minute. The combination is violent, 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds. Top speed, 247 miles per hour. And a sound that is not fully electric and not fully combustion, but something that lives between the two. A high, tight shriek that you feel in your jaw before your ears process it. Here's why this car matters. Every great hypercar brand has a philosophical identity. Ferrari sells emotion. Bugatti sells authority. Koenigsegg sells obsession. Porsche sells evolution. And McLaren sells precision. McLaren sells the idea that performance is a problem to be solved, not felt, not inherited, not proclaimed. Solved, mathematically, repeatably, every single time. And the P12 legacy is McLaren solving the biggest problem in the hypercar world right now, which is, what does a driver's car feel like when the car becomes smarter than the driver? Because with 1,240 horsepower and all-wheel drive and active aerodynamics, adjusting 25 times per second, this car knows more about the road surface than you do. It knows more about grip than you do. And yet, McLaren has built it so that the human in the seat still feels like they are in control, like every input they make actually matters, like the car is not saving them, but listening to them. That is an extraordinarily difficult engineering problem, and the P12 legacy solves it. The P1 made the world understand that McLaren was serious. The Senna proved McLaren was fearless. The P12 legacy says something different. It says McLaren is patient, that they waited until they had something worthy of the name, that they understood what they were following, and they respected it enough to take their time. The reflections on this car look like a road that goes on forever. Maybe that's intentional. So here's the question I want to leave with you tonight. Is the McLaren P12 legacy the greatest British performance car ever built? Or are the British just the only ones left who still know what a driver's car is supposed to feel like? If you love hypercars that still have a soul, cars that exist at the border between machine and emotion, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to Future Car Concepts. Every week, we bring you the cars that don't exist yet, but absolutely should. And drop your answer in the comments below.